Hello, Security Token Market. Welcome back to another section of our interview series here. I'm joined with two very special individuals, Richard Johnson, founder and CEO of Texture Capital, as well as Bob Kramich, who's the CEO and founder of BEASY, Blockchain Made Easy. They made a big announcement earlier today. But gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle. Good to see you again.
So, Rich, let's dive into it a little bit. Tell us about Texture Capital, what you've been building over the last couple of years, and everything that's going on.
Yeah, so we're a digital securities broker-dealer. We're focused on the private securities market. So we help companies issue securities using security tokens. We tokenize previously issued securities, and we have an ATS, alternative trading system, for secondary market trading.
That's exciting. It's definitely this secondary market piece is what everybody's fascinated by and really generates a lot of the headlines. So you're paving ways there. There was an announcement this morning, right?
Yeah, I was super excited. So Texture went live earlier this year. We have a couple of deals on the platform, and we're super excited to announce that BEASY is going to be the next issuance on our platform. They're doing their seed round as a security token offering. It's going to be available today or as of next week for investors to come in. And I really want to kind of bring Bob here and have him tell you all about it, because not only are they doing a security token offering, but they're in the blockchain space as well. So there's a high level of synergy and simpatico here with this.
Fantastic, very exciting. Maybe it's time to pass it over to Bob.
Sure.
Bob, if you'd just give us a little bit of background on you and the company that you've built now and what's been going on.
Sure, Kyle. So we started Blockchain Made Easy really to make blockchain easy for enterprises and business people, entrepreneurs to use, because it can be very confusing. It is an architecture of a lot of different technologies that need to be assembled to solve a business problem, but what we do is we've basically productized that architecture so that any industry can adopt and benefit from blockchain, and that's what we've been doing.
So how did you, is your background in development and that kind of a thing, or how did you get involved in the blockchain space?
Sure. I've been in custom software engineering for about 20 years now, a little over 20 years, really at the intersection of emerging technologies and cloud. And so, I've worked with companies like Overstock and Salesforce and helped them build blockchain applications to serve their customers. And that's the reason I left to start this company, because I found a key to what I was missing 20 years ago when I was leading an exchange in the electronics industry. So for the first 10 years of my career, I was working in the high-tech space for a consortia of HP, back then Compaq, NEC, Hitachi, Samsung. They were trying to build a frictionless exchange in the sky on the back of the internet. We failed miserably at that, but I've sort of carried those principles with me like a disease almost up until this point. And I'm very passionate about it, but I found the key that I'd been missing years ago, which was blockchain's ability to verify, transfer, and enforce the transfer of intellectual property ownership. And so that's where I came from, and that's why we're doing this today.
So blockchain made easy. I think the first question that I have to ask is, why is blockchain hard?
Well, blockchain is actually an architecture. It's not one technology, so it's a bunch of legacy techs, like cryptography, encryption, secure messaging, code, Java code almost, and other kind of basic code structures. And so it has to be assembled, and it can be very confusing for people. But in certain situations, you can productize that architecture so it's plug and play in different use cases, and that's what we do. So we are like the picks and shovels, the infrastructure that enable people to unlock the benefits of blockchain. And it's much more than just NFTs, which is
so
what we do.
As you're building this solution, we can talk about NFTs, maybe alongside NFTs, what industries are you targeting with this kind of technology, and which issuers and which asset owners and business owners are really going to be able to leverage this that you see off the bat?
Sure, so we're building market liquidity and product liquidity in the industries of sports and entertainment to start, number one. So musicians, entertainers, athletes, both pro and college. As you know, there's a lot going on in the college space right now with name, image, and likeness being rolled out, and it's sort of a green field. So we're helping some universities today solve that problem, but our overall value prop is much greater than just sports and entertainment. Okay. We can do this in life sciences, we can do this in supply chain, we can do this in finance, so many different places, but we're starting in sports and entertainment.
And starting in sports and entertainment, let's unpack that further. So in sports and entertainment, how is blockchain going to be used to revolutionize how they traditionally do business?
Sure, so So for instance, you've heard about NFTs, right? And you've heard that players in the pro level are creating these NFTs and selling them. Well, NFTs contain contracts. Contracts are a key part of blockchain, right? And so what we enable is sort of a quality at the source approach for an athlete, entrepreneur, or a musician to say, I want to use blockchain, but I want to use it for all of the benefits, not just NFTs. Things like immutably storing your trademarks, hashing your brand to the blockchain. When I first started the company over 3 years ago, they said, mail yourself your brand and don't open it, so that if a judge wants to see that you had the mark before someone else, they could open the envelope, they can see the postmark, which is kind of ridiculous. And so things like making your mark, managing your contracts, or what we call smartening your contracts, so that if you have an NFT that has software called a smart contract that's supporting it, you should have a forensic linear heritage of that software to your originally signed paper agreement, right? And so things like that, in addition to creating and selling your NFTs, managing your partners and monitoring compliance, those are all sort of wrapped into our solution.
So let's talk about security token technology. What are your thoughts on taking this blockchain piece and applying tokenization to real world assets?
Well, what we're doing is we're enabling, you've heard of marketplaces like OpenSea or Nifty Gateway and other great places, but we are enabling what they offer to their customers. We're enabling people to create their own NFTs directly from their own computer and then sell on any marketplace. So that's really the difference. We're enabling every human, in a sense, that wants to be an entrepreneur or a business, to create their own NFTs and then sell them on any exchange.
Fascinating stuff. And so let's talk about your partnership here with Texture Capital. Rich, so they're doing their seed round investment here. What is that structure looking like for your investor network?
So it's going to be a Reg D 506C offering. It's going to go live on the site next week, texture.capital/invest. It is only accredited investors, and I know you're always on about democratization. We'll get there, it's what Bob hasn't told you, and we'll get to it. Is like he's got some signed contracts already. We're going to be making announcements. Not telling you who right now, but it's a great little business. It's a turnkey solution, and I think you look at some of the companies that OpenSea, the valuations they're getting. Most people can't even get into those types of offerings. So we are democratizing access to NFT companies, startups who are transforming the space in a way. So anyone can come in there. It's a minimum purchase of it's a $30,000 minimum, but that's much more accessible than some of these other deals out there.
Right.
And we want to grow with Bob as well. So the company will on the platform now for the issuance, and then as well hopefully for the trading in a year's time, and then maybe their Series A, around then also.
So how does that work? If you had, let's say he sells he fully subscribes his seed round, and that's listed on Texture Capital's ATS, and then he wants to do a Series A. Would that be issuing new shares in order to do that, or how would that work with having already secondary?
It could be, so each class of security would need to be its own token. So this round is a common stock. So if the next round is common stock as well, it'll be completely fungible.
Okay.
People forget that there's a fungible, not just non-fungible, So they'll be completely fungible with the seed round.
Right.
If the Series A is a preferred round, that would be a different token, and it would not be fungible.
Right, interesting. So those are some fun things I think that we're going to start, as this industry continues to grow, exploring, how you have a live, publicly traded asset and are still exploring fundraising rounds alongside it and how those mechanics will work. So that's going to be a lot of fascinating stuff. I'm sure you and your team are already
we got lots of thoughts about that, absolutely,
that's
yes.
Fascinating stuff. So, so maybe back to you, let's talk a little bit about where you've gotten to today. So you mentioned you've been building this company now for 3 years. What are you at what point are you here today, and what are you looking to use this capital for moving forward?
The majority of the capital will be used for onboarding my team full-time, really focusing on making sure that we're delivering for the current customers that we've signed, proving product market fit for those customers, because it is a new space, right? So they're pulling the startup out of us, in a sense, right now. And they're taking our core product and they're saying, would like this feature, would like that feature, and that's really where the money's going to go to start.
Right. So, in terms of the customers you're working with, you may or may not be able to disclose. I don't want to put you on the spot. But are those all clients that are looking to launch NFTs themselves, or are they creating platforms for the trading of NFTs? What kinds of clients are you seeing right now?
So our solution really, the core differentiators for us is that we've built a comprehensive yet easy to use solution. You don't need to understand blockchain, number one. We built it so it's plug and play with your existing web system. So if you're already selling today, for instance, on a Shopify-based website, we plug right into Shopify. And the last thing is we're a private labelable solution. So in some cases, like in sports, our flagship product is called Athlete Chain. That's built on top of our core platform, and that's a multi-party consensus network between sports and agents and fans and athletes and so on. And we branded that Athlete Chain. However, in music, we're working with other partners, and they're creating their own marketplaces where they're using our rails underneath. So they have their own brands, and they have their own desires, and so we're enabling those desires. So we're working with musicians to help them, for instance, tokenize songs, create smart contracts that verify and manage compliance of splits on those song ownership rights.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and so it's a multifaceted approach. We're working with artists. One of our artists has art in Guggenheim, MoMA, 15 embassies around the world. They're looking to create digital prints of their artwork and digital twins of that work. And what we're doing is we're building we call multi-party consensus networks in different layers, but we're uniting them all too, because musicians want to participate in games. We have a gaming layer. We're working with some great gaming companies that want to use our rails underneath their games so that the players on those games can create NFTs, like flaming swords or other types of things that they can actually take with them out of the game and sell on their own marketplace. And so you can see the synergies between athletes and musicians and gaming companies, and what we're doing is we're enabling them to network rapidly with each other and monetize things.
Interesting. So let's now move into the investment structure here. How much are you looking to raise? You said it's going to go towards building out some of your facilitating of the clients you currently have, bringing on the team. What's the fundraise structure look like?
You want to talk about that, Richard, or would you like me to?
Yeah, I mean, real quick. They're raising 2.55 million. It's at a post-money valuation of about 16 million. And like I said, it's a Reg D structure, and it's very simple. We're working with Vertalo, as we're here at the Vertalo conference, and Vertalo is going to be the transfer agent on that. So you've got different teams working together here to make sure that we have a very successful security token launch.
That's fantastic. I love that the focus here is on security tokens. We're bringing these products to market. Tokenization is the future, whether you're talking about connecting it with artists and royalties, building NFTs, building blockchain-based consensus structures, or just investment products that can trade to anyone around the world. Bob, Rich, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.